On a Sunday afternoon, not midnight, not dead of night, a woman drove up to a home in Beverly Hills, pulled out an AR 15 style rifle, and opened fire. 10 shots. According to a neighbor who heard it happen, it was bam, 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 probably like 10 shots. The family, Rihanna, ASAP Rocky, and their 3 children, one of whom is barely 5 months old. By some miracle, no one was hurt. But I need you to understand what almost happened on a random Sunday in a residential neighborhood and why it keeps happening to artist after artist, to celebrity after celebrity, and why the systems we have in place to prevent it from happening aren't working. Welcome to the Yasmin Breakdown. Here's what we know according to TMZ and confirmed by the Los Angeles Police Department. On Sunday, March 8th, 2026, at approximately 1:15 in the afternoon, a 35-year-old woman from Orlando, Florida, named Ivana Ortiz, drove a white Tesla into the Beverly Crest neighborhood just outside of Beverly Hills and fired an AR 15 semi automatic styled rifle at Rihanna's home. Neighbors heard it. News helicopters caught it, and LAPD responded immediately. 10 shots, multiple rounds hit the exterior gate. An RV parked in the driveway was also struck. Bullet holes were found in adjacent homes on the block. Rihanna was inside. Police confirmed that 10 people were inside the home at the time of the shooting. 3 of them were children, including a baby. Ortiz sped away, but LAPD tracked the vehicle via helicopter about 8 miles away at the Sherman Oaks Galleria, where officers made a traffic stop and took her into custody. She was arrested at 2:20 p.m., barely an hour after the shooting occurred. The weapon was recovered. Ortiz has since been charged with 14 felony counts, 1 count of attempted murder, 10 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling or occupied vehicle. Her bail was set at $1.875 million. She is due back in court for arraignment on March 25th. If convicted on all counts, she faces life in state prison, according to the Los Angeles County District Attorney. Now, here is where this gets darker. It didn't come out of nowhere. According to CBS Los Angeles, social media posts appearing to belong to Ortiz had already raised red flags. In one post on X, she referenced Rihanna directly, writing, "Are you there?" In other posts, she reportedly claimed that Rihanna had done her little music thing so that she can do witchcraft, and that Rihanna, quote, "wants to kill me," end quote. Court records also show that Ortiz was arrested for domestic violence in 2023. And in a separate, almost unbelievable move, she recently sought an injunction to block a Billie Eilish concert in Florida. This is someone with a documented history, a digital trail, prior legal trouble, and she still drove from Florida to California with the AR-15 style rifle to shoot up a family's home in broad daylight. How does that happen? Because here's the truth, and I say this with every ounce of sadness this deserves. Rihanna is not the first, and unless something changes, she will not be the last. According to The Guardian, Taylor Swift had a stalker arrested outside of her Beverly Hills home. When authorities searched his vehicle, they found a knife, rope, ammunition, and masks. He came prepared. He had a plan, and he made it all the way to her front gate. BuzzFeed reported that Justin Bieber had a man, while incarcerated from behind bars, allegedly hire a uncle-nephew duo to kidnap, castrate, and kill him. And that was allegedly planned to be executed from prison. That's not a fan who went too far. That is a coordinated murder plot. In 2014, a man broke in to Sandra Bullock's Bel Air home while she was inside. She hid in a closet and called 911. The man was eventually sentenced to probation. Let me say that again, probation, for breaking into a woman's home while she was inside, effectively terrorizing her. Eminem literally wrote the book on this in 2000 with his hit song Stan. Stan painted the most vivid picture that we have ever had about what it looks like when a parasocial relationship gets dangerous. A fan so consumed by his obsession that it becomes lethal. And then M lived it himself. In 2020, a man broke into M's Detroit home while he was inside asleep. Security intervened. Then in 2024, it happened again. This time, Eminem was asleep inside of a padlocked room when the intruder broke in. A padlocked room in his own home, because he had learned after the first break in that this was the safety that was in fact required. That man was sentenced to 15 to 30 years in prison. But y'all, that's the exception, not the rule. And that is the core of what I want to talk about today. Because when we look at this pattern, Rihanna, Justin, Sandra, Taylor, Eminem, we are not looking at a string of bad luck. We are looking at a systemic failure. Stalking is a crime in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, and it's a federal crime. Federal law, specifically 18 USC 2261A, explicitly prohibits stalking, including cyber stalking, when it involves crossing state lines or using electronic communication to instill fear. Ortiz drove from Florida to California with a weapon after posting threatening and paranoid content about Rihanna online. The law was written exactly for this. And yet, getting someone committed for a mental health crisis in the United States is extremely difficult. The legal standard requires proof of imminent danger to self or others, not history, not warning signs, not a pattern of escalating behavior. The burden of proof is high. Psychiatric beds are limited, and patients' rights, which exists for specific reasons, create real barriers to intervention even when the warning signs are screaming. So you get situations where someone can post paranoid or threatening content online about a celebrity, can show up at their home, can have prior arrests, and still fall through every crack in the system until they are standing outside a gate with a rifle. I want to stop here for a moment because I think we owe it to Rihanna to say this clearly. This is a woman who gave us Umbrella, We Found Love, Stay, What's My Name, Needed Me, songs that have been the soundtrack to our heartbreaks, our late nights, our victories, our road trips. She has 9 Grammy Awards. She headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, Visibly Pregnant, and delivered one of the most iconic performances in history. She built Fenty Beauty and changed the beauty industry. I do not say this lightly. She created a makeup brand that actually works for all skin tones. That was not the industry standard before her. She made it the standard. Fenty Skin, Savage times Fenty. She has built an empire, not just on talent, but on care. Care for the people who love her and support her. She is also a mother 3 times over. Her youngest child was born in September of 2025. And this woman, this artist, this entrepreneur, this mother was inside her home on a Sunday afternoon when someone drove up with an AR-15 type rifle and opened fire. Her reward for everything that she has given us should not be this. Her fame, her wealth, her influence, none of that makes her a target. None of that makes this acceptable. None of that diminishes what was almost taken away from her children, or from her family. I'm going to address something directly because I know someone out there is thinking it. If any part of you is thinking, well, they're famous and it comes with the territory, you are missing the point completely. I need you to sit with that thought and examine it, because what you are doing is using celebrity as a reason to strip a human being for their right of safety. And stalking is a crime. It is a crime whether the victim is famous or not. Fame does not make someone less deserving of protection under the law. Celebrities are people. They are people who have partners, have children, have parents who watch the news. They go to sleep, they have Sunday afternoons. They are not characters in a show that you are consuming. They are human beings living real lives. And the idea that a parasocial relationship, the feeling of connection that you develop while listening to someone's music, watching their interviews, or following their life, gives you any claim on that person's safety, their space, their body, their family, that is not connection. That is obsession. And when it escalates, it's dangerous and it's criminal. So what can we do? I don't want to leave you just on grief and frustration. Report threats. If you see someone posting threatening, paranoid, or escalating content about a public figure online, report it to the platform. Report it to law enforcement if it contains credible threats. The Rihanna case shows us that there was a digital trail. Use it. Second thing we can do, do not support paparazzi that harass celebrities, especially their children. Do not click on it. Do not share it. Do not fund it. Demand for invasive content creates supply. Number 3, report online harassment. If you see someone in a fan community escalating obsessive language, violent ideation, fixation, flag it. Inside these communities, warning signs are often visible before they ever reach the public. Number 4, respect the line between fan and fixation. You can love an artist's work without believing you have a relationship with them. That distinction matters. And number 5, advocate for stronger stalking laws and better mental health infrastructure. The two are connected. People who pose a danger need intervention before they show up at a gate with a rifle. Rihanna made music that carried us. She built a beauty brand that saw us. She brought 3 children in this world, and she's simply trying to do what parents do, which is keep their children safe. On a Sunday afternoon, somebody tried to take all of that away. And to that I say, we can debate policy, debate mental health systems, debate the legal failures, and we should. But underneath all of it is something simpler. A woman was inside of her home with her babies, and she should have been safe. She deserves to be safe. That is not too much to ask. If this video made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment on what you think really needs to change. Legally, systemically, culturally. I read all the comments. All right, y'all, that's one to grow on. I will see you next time. Peace.